Tiny Toons fans, have you heard of Tiny Toons Adventures or the recent reboot Tiny Toons University that aired in 2023? Think again, as we're about to delve into something much darker. The last Tiny Toons short that adores Toys R Us. This tale takes us back into 2002, a time before Toys R Us became a mere memory in our collective childhood, before Jeffrey the Giraffe had to hang up his hat as the beloved toy store went bankrupt in 2018. One fateful Friday afternoon, nestled in my gaming chair, I found solace in my latest session Fortnite. Every build, every loot drop, keep my mind occupied until the sudden ringing of the doorbell jolted me for my focus. I paused the game, and annoyance bubbling beneath the surface as I made my way to the door. To my surprise, a small brown package awaiting me on the doorstep. Cur- cur- Curiosity pecked, I carried the box into the kitchen, where daylight filtered through the window, casting gentle shadows across the counter. Grabbing a pair of scissors, I energy sliced through the tape. To my bewilderment, nestled inside was a DVD titled Tiny Toons Adventure showing Toys R Us. The cover depicted a vivid scene of the iconic store with beloved characters Babs, Shirley, Plucky, Buster, Hampton, and Fifi cheerfully standing outside, framed by the vibrant Tiny Toon Adventures logo, and at the bottom, the nostalgic 1998 through 2007 Toys R Us logo. Excuse me? Didn't Toys R Us promote Tiny Toon Adventures? I mumbled back to myself. Memories flooded back of Saturday morning spent in front of the TV and entranced by the antics of the tunes, feeling a surge of nostalgia. I, gr- I grabbed the DVD and hurried to the DVD player, eager to experience what had seemingly slipped through the cracks of time. I inserted the disc, closed the tray, and leaned back as Lulu FBI water screen flickered to life. Quickly transitioned to the 1997 Waterhole video logo. Everything appeared as expected, preserving the warmth of my childhood, and then it transitioning to the 1998 through 2007 Toys R Us logo with black background, and it lasted for 5 seconds, and then it faded to black. When the DVD menu loaded, it showcased the same background as the cover, but with a unique twist. Fifi, Hampton, Shirley, Plucky, Babs, and Buster stood outside the store, each one beaming with enthusiasm. The menu options play and visit ToysRUs.com brought me into a world I thought I knew. I pressed play and the screen cut to black for 3 seconds. It cut to the warning screen that said, "Warning. This Tiny Toon Adventure short was banned due to violence. Kids, do not watch it." "Oh great, here we go again," I said, slapping my forehead as dread filled my stomach. Had heard rumors of this short being unsettling, a relic of animation that went too far, and I couldn't shake off the feeling of anxiety gripping me as the screen faded to black. The scene opened in an early empty Toys R Us store, bathed in an unnatural silence, interrupted only by the sound of chirping crickets. The clock on the wall ticked ominously, marking midnight, an hour when anything sinister could afford. After a few agonizing seconds, Buster Bunny, Plucky Duck, and Hampton J. Pig arrived in the scene. "Okay, here's a plan," Buster declared. "The Babs, Fifi, and Chili are trapped in the booby trap section of the store, kidnapped by some random strangers. We're going to save them. Let's go!" Hampton explained, mimicking Mario. Then cheesy bravado seeming utterly out of place in the tense atmosphere. Buster, Hampton, and Plucky cautiously opened the door, letting out a shriek of metal against metal as it echoed through the dark store. Inside, the store was surrounded in darkness and disarray. Boxes scattered haphazardly across the aisles, their contents spilled out like toys that had been abandoned in a far-off childhood. "Did you hear that?" Buster sobbed as his ears perked up. It felt like the air itself heard a muffled scream. "Hear what?" Plucky shot back, his bravado waving slightly. "It sounded like help!" Buster replied, on suspicions creeping into his voice. "Uh-oh, sounds like the girls are really in trouble," Hep Uh-oh, sounds like the girls are really in trouble, Hampton whispered, his eyes growing wide in fear. Let's tiptoe, Plucky suggested, his confidence waning as they crept towards the ominous shadows of the office. When they reached the office, they were met with a shocking sight. Babs, Phoebe, and Shirley were tied up on the table, their eyes wide with panic. The room was dimly lit, casting unsteady shadows that danced across the frightened faces. Girls, we found you! Buster yelled in a fit of excitement, but Plucky quickly hushed him. Are you trying to get us caught? Keep it down. The store might be closed for a night, but we don't want to invite trouble. Right. Sorry, Buster hushed, feeling embarrassed as he dropped his volume. Hampton actually scoured the office for something to cut the ropes binding the girls. He gazed later on the silver fork resting on the plate. As he sprinted over, the clinking of silverware echoed eerily in the quiet place. Hey, hang on, girls! We're gonna get you out! Hampton said, with enthusiasm taken with fear as he quickly saw through the ropes. In moments, the girls were free, and they all shared a relieved group hug. Thanks, boys. You saved us, Babs explained. Her eyes held a head of lingering fear. What happened, Babs? Buster asked, his brow furrowed with concern. Somewhere in the dark corners of the office, a sinister presence looked. A strange, a stranger ambushed us, Babs explained. Her voice trembled slightly. Who was it? Plucky pressed, his bravado looking. Look behind you! Babs shouted, terror etched on her face. With dread pooling in her stomach, they turned to see the cartoonish figure of Charles P. Lazarus, the CEO of Toys R Us, standing before them. His smile was was wide yet unsettling, and he spoke in the early familiar voice of Patrick Warburton. Well, 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 look who's arrived to play. The atmosphere shifted, as if the very air had thick with tension. You're too late, he said, the malice, in his voice sending shivers down their spines. The real game has only just begun. Before they could react, the lights flickered violently, plunging the room into darkness. Oh, look, it's Charles, Phoebe said angrily, her face twisted with determination. You're the one who kidnapped the girls! Buster shouted back, glaring at Charles, who stood at the end of the aisles, arms crossed and managing grin plastered on his face. Oh, I did it for the reason, Charles replied with a twisted smile. I was about to turn those girls to plushy style be on display for all the children to buy. And now, he paused for effect, his voice dropping a sinister whisper. It's time to play! Charles lunged forward, but the Titans were quicker, scattering in different directions. There is no escape, little Toon, Charles taunted, his voice echoing through the store. However, Hampton found the courage within himself, confronted by the terror of the situation. I had enough of this, he yelled, charging at Charles before throwing a wild punch that connected with Charles' nose. The impact caused a satisfying nosebleed splatter across Charles' face. Hey, what was that for a piggy bank? Charles shouted, his eyes wide with rage. Hampton stood his barrel fist clenched. You did not insult the girls! He bellowed back, determination glistening in his eyes. Wanna bet? Charles sneered before Hampton could react. Charles swiftly grabbed a seesaw, positioned nearby, and with a merciless heave, sent Hampton flying into a flammable tub filled with bubbling acid water. Buster, Babs, and Plucky gasped in horror as Hampton hit the surface. Screams of agony filled the air as the acidic liquid began to burn. The squeals of rubber and bubbling water echoed through the store, chilling them to the core. Hampton! Buster shouted, his heart dropping as he witnessed his friend's struggle. The acid hissed and spat as Hampton cries pierced through the tension of the moment, turning their vibrant animated world into a nightmarish scene. "Stop it, you monster!" Plucky yelled. His eyes flooded with disbelief. As he took a step forward, he fell to the ground, troubled beneath him. The dreadful realization that the fight was far from oversetting it. Fifi's ears perked up at the sound of Hampton's blood-curdling scream, and without thinking, she dashed towards her friend. Horror enveloped her as she reached Hampton, eyes widened as she took the devastating sight of him floundering in the corrosive liquid, skin bubbling and raw. "Hampton!" She screamed, her voice reaching a pitch that shattered nearby glass cases, leaving the remains leaving leaving the remains of plastic and shattered dreams raining down around them. The others quickly covered their ears, the piercing sound running steady with despair, and then silence. Buster's heart raced, panicking clawing him as he watched Fifi helplessly beside Hampton. "No!" he yelled, charging at Charles. You won't get away with this!" Buster, joined by Babs and Plucky, Vance ready to take down this monster once and for all. "You monster!" Plucky shouted, fists clenched, eyes burning with righteous fury. Charles merely laughed, a twisted sound filled with malice, and redyed his next sinister move. Over Hampton's cries and Fifi's distress, he heard more threats, taunting them as they prepared to face their greatest challenge yet. "This is all your fault, Charles!" Fifi exclaimed angrily. Her voice a mix of fire and frayed nerves. The scourge they faced was hardly what she anticipated for a day of shopping. As she raged in rapid French, trying to vent her frustration, Charles interrupted her with a heavy hand, pulling out the toy club. He swung it at her head, ordering, "Speak English!" The blow set her reeling, a trail of blood marking her fall. "Fifi! Fifi!" Plucky screamed, horror spreading across his green face. "Two down, four to go," Charles said with a chilling grin as the horror of the action sunk in. Trying to Plucky and Shirley scrambled away from Charles, who was pulling out more toys with malicious intent. With a flick of his wrist, he unleashed a cracking plasma ball, sending electric currents through the air. Plucky and Shirley staggered as the energy rushed through them, their hearts fluttering. "Plucky! Shirley!" Buster shouted in despair, rallying his remaining friends. "Come and get me on top!" Charles taunted from above, retreating further into the store. Desperate to reclaim their toy kingdom, Buster and Babs discovered a array of brightly colored Nerf guns in the hour-marked battle plane. With newfound courage, they tore open a package and began firing insults and foam darts at Charles. Thought he'd dance around them with practiced ease. "Just me and you, rabbits. Just me and you, rabbits," Charles whispered, a twisted smirk on his face as he beckoned them. Buster, willing to play diversion, darted away while Babs armed with a larger Nerf gun, opening fire like a tiny, furious artillery unit. But as Charles continued to dodge, he was less the target and more like an embodiment of the chaos around them. Just when it seems like Babs might overpower him with sheer determination, Charles retaliated with surprising strength. With a powerful shove, he crashed her out of the store's entrance and into the bright sunlit parking lot. "Do you know we are weaknesses, Babs?" Charles asked, his voice oozing with malicious glee. "What?" "A pink rabbit girl has no weaknesses! Weakness!" With that, he unshuttered the power saw from behind a toy display. He began to cut Babs' chest, and she screamed, but it wasn't way too loud like Fifi. Charles turns off the saw and put it away and began to rip Bab's chest and heart. Buster felt a cold sweat drip down his forehead as Bab's painful screams echoed through the store. He tore back inside, and just as Charles emerged, leaving a passive distraction in his wake. Was that Babs? Buster gasped, eyes wide with shock. I'm back, Charles sneered, strolling out like a conqueror surveying this battlefield. You're the last one now, Buster. As Charles pulled out a toy cloth, the action quickly worked from playful to sinister. In the terrifying mishap, the claw snagged Buster's right eye and pulled out with blood leaking. Ouch! That hurt! Buster screamed, his widened eyes bulging in fear. Oh, really? Charles logically replied, a sinister grin forming on his face. The atmosphere shifted from light-hearted to eerie as Charles clutched Buster's neck, leaning it close to whisper, Do you want to go to space, mister? No! I'll lose my oxygen! Buster shouted back, panic, sizing his voice. But Charles, unmoved by the cartoon's charm, and only fueled by his own twisted imagination, scoffed at the plea. Okay then, you asked for it, he declared, dragging Buster outside into the parking lot underneath the bright fluorescent lights. Charles produced a firework rocket, tied Buster to it with rope that seemed early well prepared for his sinister plan. With malicious glee, he lit the fuse. Off white, I said, Blue Bunny! He monkeyed. They called out, stepping back as the firework ignited. As the rocket screamed into the night sky, Buster let a gut-wrenching scream that echoed through the aisles of Toys R Us. The sight of the tiny blue bunny soaring into the clouds, both entrancing and nightmarish. Suddenly, there was an explosion with Buster's organs, leaving viewers in stunned silence. Charles gazed up, marveling at the chaos as pieces of Buster's organ rained down like confetti. Perfect. It was perfect, he exclaimed, sun twinkling in his eyes. Time to go home, Charles said as he turned on his heel and walked away, his footsteps crunching over the fallen toy pieces, and it faded to black. As the end credits rolled, the haunting melody of play Chopin's Nocturne number 2 in E-flat major. Each frame show was a slideshow of grotesque imagery that would haunt anyone brave enough to watch. Hampton's burnt form, Fifi with a bleeding face, Plucky and Shirley unconscious, Bab lay ravaged, her features twisted in horror while remnants of Buster's existence lay scattered in the parking lot. The animated short was never intended for public consumption. It was a macabre nightmare masquerading as whimsy. As the screen faded to black, the animated credits revealed the name Greg Johnson, a name that would forever be linked to his cursed piece of animation. The final image was the 1998 to 2007 Toys R Us logo with ToysRUs.com linked with Amazon.com. A stark reminder of innocence lost before everything faded to silence, and then it cut back to the DVD menu. Sitting in shock, the viewer couldn't shake the feeling of dread. So that's why the short was bad, they whispered, fear tightly gripping her chest. Disgusted with the violence and carnage, they ejected the DVD from the player. Contemplating the darkness they had just witnessed, in a burst of anger, they marched to the grill, tossed the DVD inside, and ignited it. Flames danced as the image of chaos melted away. Each pop and sizzle a punctuation of fidelity. With a satisfying thud, the charred remains were discarded in the garbage bin. The next day, the viewers sat at their computers, fingers hovering over the keyboard, as they composed an email to none other than Steven Spielberg regarding the lost Tiny Toon short that prompts Toys R Us. Then typed frustration spilling out. It isn't kid friendly. It's way too violent. As a click said, a part of the pet will leave. Hopeful that no other innocent child would stumble upon that cursed shore. The memory of glowing toy owls sang sweet promises of joy, and they couldn't help but whisper, "I hope Toys R Us reopens sometime in the future. A future free from the shadow, lost animations, echoes of laughter, and rediscovered innocence." They held onto that hope tightly like a cherished toy nestled in childhood dreams, wishing for a brighter tomorrow.